This is Jake Stambro with the Down with the Roots podcast with Coach Macias from Wolves Academy. Coach, appreciate you jumping on with us. It's another episode of our Down with the Roots podcast, kind of shedding some light on some programs of high stature around the West Coast and beyond. And love what you guys are doing out there in the IE San Jacinto. And something kind of we start off with everyone is tell us a little bit about your story.
Yeah.
Everyone's is unique and how you got to do what you're currently doing in the community there, and just tell us about maybe from when you started as a young kid, or your current story, how you kind of came about to what you're doing now.
Okay. Yeah, man. Well, growing up around 9, 10 years old, my favorite sport was baseball.
Oh, really?
Um, Growing up, I would have to feed my grandparents' horses, and at times I would just stay there for dinner. And they had K-cows. So when I was about 9 or 10 years old, I saw this kid wearing number 8, playing for the Los Angeles Lakers, and it was a wrap after that, bro. Like basketball was just. I mean, I don't even have to explain who number 8 for the Lakers was at that time, right? So, as soon as I started
Yeah.
watching him play, I just divulged into the sport, tried to learn everything I possibly could about it, fell in love with it. Um, Started playing from there on out, put baseball on the back burner, and played all throughout high school, and then I broke my ankle my senior year, right before prom. And I had some plans to do some things after school, but my coach at the time asked me to come back, and God rest his soul, Mr. Tuxon, Coach Tuxon, he asked me to come back and help out with the program that summer. Um, Been doing it since. I've been coaching
Yeah.
since, so I just kind of fell in love with it from there. A little bit more is like I grew up in a small town, so I'm Native American from the Kuya Band of Indians, um, and
Very
you
cool.
know, yeah, a lot of my roots are there. You know what I mean? And I try to carry them with me as much as I possibly can, and implement some of those teachings in my coaching. So like little things like for um, our Wolves organization, our colors are green and black, right? And the reason why they're wolves is because my family is part of the Wolf Clan. So that's the
Okay.
whole meaning behind our, yeah. So that's why we're called the Wolves. And then, a little homage to my mother. Her favorite color was green, so that's why our colors are green and black. So,
Okay.
and
Okay.
little things like that. You know what I mean? So, um, and just a little bit about my upbringing with the coaching is just I mainly, grew up in a sports organization as well called Intertribal Sports, and it's based here in Southern California, and they're a nonprofit organization that is based here in Southern California for I believe it's the 21 Southern California tribes here, and they provide team sports for kids through basketball, flag football, softball. I believe they're doing golf now, soccer. So they provide a lot of stuff that it pertains to health and wellness, especially in our Native American communities. That's very important to them, and they're doing such a great job. And I was brought up in that as a kid. I helped coach for them, and that's how I got involved with the AAU. Actually, they started a travel ball basketball team, and we
Okay.
didn't know really where to go play. So we would look online and find these tournaments. So that's how we got involved. That's how I got involved. So we started putting our kids in AAU tournaments, with the all Native American team. And as they grew older, some were some kind of stuck around. So it was hard to form teams at that time, just like Native Americans only. So what I did is I started our Wolves organization, and because the more I was in AAU, the more I was learning. And one of those people that taught me a lot was Gerald Williams. He taught me a lot about the scene. He was an open book. Like anytime I had a question, I would always go to him, and he would always answer for me what I could do, what I couldn't do. So, shout out to Gerald Williams, but he really helped me out along that process and taught me how to like build an organization, and you know, so yeah, I mean
Yeah.
that's how Bulls
How
Academy
many
kind of
how
came.
many years how many years now have you been doing this?
The
with
AAU
the program. Yeah, with the
with the
program. Yeah.
program. Yeah, so with the program right after COVID. So we
Okay.
we saw a need for it right after COVID, especially I was living out here in San Jacinto, and I was trying to figure out ways how I can galvanize the community at a time where everything was just crazy, you know. So we put together the team, started having practices. We started with two high school teams, boys and girls. About 2 3 months after that, word kind of got out within our community, and we went from having two teams to I want to say eight or nine
Oh
through all
wow.
ages. Yeah, we kind of bit off more than we could chew, but it was a blessing in disguise also because the community really was coming to us, and we were trying to be there for them at a time. And we some of those kids we still have to this day, and some of those kids have now graduated, have even graduated college. To see them, and we still have kids currently playing, in the college scene right now. So, it's good to see them, either them being graduating, them still playing. We still have some of the younger ones we started at the time. They're entering high school now, so it's cool to kind of like be here in this community and provide that sense of health and wellness, kind of like what I was taught from intertribal sports. And now we're passing that on to this community and here in San Jacinto, and trying to do our best to maintain that also,
Yeah.
and in an
Absolutely. And
organic way.
yeah, yeah. Absolutely. I know, just from doing this as long as I have, it's crazy you mentioned the Native American community. I know that there's like a niche that they have within their basketball, grassroots basketball space where, and I'm sure you guys have played in these or you've been a part of them. They have these grassroots Native American type of tournament series where Native American programs from all over the country playing that. So maybe speak, that's just something side topic, maybe speak on that a little bit. I know that's a huge thing in that space, the community of basketball, those tournaments and stuff, and also getting your program kind of on the map with it within grassroots in general as well.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many nowadays. Also, there's when I was coming up in the coaching scene. At first, it was the Lori Piestewa games, and
Uh-huh.
it was the I'm sorry, the Indigenous games. And I believe those two are still currently going on, but the big one now is Nabi, and that one's held
Yep, exactly.
out in Arizona. So, for here, excuse me, for here in Southern California, we have Intertribal Sports. That's our liaison for that. They have, they provide all the stuff that the kids need to field the teams, the coaches. They got a great coach over there with Joey, Joey Macias, and he's done a great job over the last few years. I was actually one of his assistant coaches and he's also somebody I learned a lot from as well. When I was coming up with the whole travel ball scene through intertribal sports. But um, the scene right now for Native American country is just it's amazing. We love seeing our kids getting out there because basketball for us has always been like almost like medicine for us. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Like it's a form of therapy. It's a form of wellness. It's a form of medicine for a lot of us. I know it was for me. I don't know where I would be if it wasn't for that orange round ball. So
Yeah.
and the places that it's taken a lot of our kids. I'm excited to see like a lot of our kids that are you know I think we have. Let me see. Um, Yeah, I want to say it's been around. ITS has been doing travel ball since 2000. I want to say 2011. So it's been going on for quite some time, and they've been doing a great job of just continuing it. And like I said, a big part of that is Joey Masael over there at Pachanga, and carrying that boys team. Andy Silvas right now is coaching the girls teams. I may be helping out with that soon too. So getting back into it, so I'm kind of excited for that. Navi has grown significantly and has done a great justice for our kids, and has also created a lot of exposure for our kids. So
Sure.
even though we have a lot of Native American kids playing on different travel ball teams, when it comes to Nabi, it's more of a it's more I don't even want to say an experience. It's like a gathering, a gathering of
Yeah,
nations. It's a beautiful thing to see. Native American people from all over the country coming to do this, just coming to play the sport they love, or coach the sport they love, or watch the sport they love. So you know,
yeah.
shout out to Nabi because they're doing an amazing job and getting exposure for a lot of these kids.
For sure, for sure. I've always known that to be a big thing, so it's cool to kind of shed some light on that. For
Yes,
you, I know too. You've been a part of not only the boys' side but also the girls' side at the high school
hmm
and youth levels, and girls I think is growing a lot nowadays. With
right,
the marketing and just the talent level and so on and so forth. Speak about some differences there, obviously being involved with both. And then obviously with you being a high school coach, I mean, you see firsthand kind of the transition that a lot of these kids make from youth to high school and what they kind of know, what families know, what kids know, or what
right,
they don't know, making that
yeah.
transition as well. So speak on that a little bit.
Yeah, so not from my experience, coaching boys and girls, like um, coaching girls is a whole lot different than coaching boys. I believe girls are more willing to learn and more coachable. Not saying that boys aren't. I just feel there's more of a need for the on the girls' side of basketball and a more attention to detail for the girls.
Hmm.
I feel boys, and again, I can't speak for everyone's experience, but from mine, boys are very athletic, but sometimes rely only on that athleticism. And I think what can separate you from being on the floor is, when you're matching up against other people, everyone's an athlete out there. So
Hmm.
sometimes it's going to take more than that, and that's kind of what we really try to teach our boys when it comes to the development of the game is understanding space, pace, and IQ, and just
Yeah.
learning how to play on the floor, in a flow state. Because basketball, everyone's like, oh well, I'm fast, but what I like to tell our players, like sometimes you don't need to be fast, you need to be quick. Quick with your
Hmm.
decision making, quick with you know being active on defense, and that's what I love about my assistant coach at the high school. She's got a great quote. She says, "We need to be active and not reactive." And I feel like that's very important for when it comes to just kids in general. But like I would say, the girls are more keen to doing those type of things. But you know, boys, with the athleticism, it's there's a lot of talented boys out there, especially out
Yeah.
here in the IE. So I think it's getting a lot more competitive out here, and what's going to separate a lot of these boys from that is again it's coming down to the IQ. But as far as the women's game and where it's going, I mean, from we know who the Trailblazers are, from the Cheryl Millers to the Lisa Leslies to Cheryl Swoops to, I mean, you got Cynthia Cooper, all of them, you know what I mean? But
Yeah.
what I felt brought a lot of attention to basketball to the women's side was seeing Kobe Bryant and his daughter courtside, before the accident, and I felt like that was generating a buzz, and I felt, ever since him going to all those games, wearing the orange hoodies that a lot of people like to wear now. So I felt that was a huge impact on the women's basketball, and even his daughter made as for the short time she was here on Earth with us, she was just a huge impact on the women's side of basketball as well. But I felt the people that have picked it up also and are carrying the torch is like the Caitlin Clarks, the Angel Reese, with um, I mean I can go on and on, but
Yeah.
I felt the game's in a good place. Collier and with them starting the Unrivaled League, just creating all this buzz around women's basketball. I love to see where it's going. My personal favorite, Juju Watkins doing her thing. I can't wait for her to get back on the court. But I
Hmm.
feel the women's basketball is in a great place right now, and I can't wait to see where it goes. and I feel it's in very, very good hands. The women of the sport are, not only very, very talented, they're very, very educated, very, very smart.
Mhm.
And, I think a lot of that is sometimes people kind of don't see that, or maybe not even don't see that, but don't understand it either. And I just feel that, because with women's basketball, they're standing up for what they believe in, and they deserve everything they have, or they deserve everything they're asking for. So I really
Yeah,
can't wait
bigger
to
than
see where.
basketball, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
man, it's bigger than basketball. So I'm truly excited to see where it goes, and to be a small part of it on the high school side. It's an honor. So
Sure, sure. Well, we mentioned before we jumped on that you guys are 8-0 there. So I think a little bit bigger than a small part of it. Obviously, being in the San Jacinto community, obviously it sounds like a huge year for you guys. But talk about the San Jacinto community a little bit. Obviously, you got the youth
yep,
program and the high school program. It's its own kind of little pocket there in the IE.
yes.
What's the basketball culture like there? What's it been like to kind of put it on the map or continue to? And what needs to continue to be done to kind of shed some light on that basketball community and continue to put it on the map?
Yeah, I mean, you know, I feel the culture, like I'm a huge believer in culture over system. I have to change my plays almost every year for the girls that we get coming in, but our culture remains the same. Our culture is just about, one, being good students, and two, just being on time as an athlete, and being responsible for everything we do, and developing um, at a very young age for our community. I feel it starts there. I feel it's very important. And that's one of the whole reasons why, we started the organization, is we really want to develop this younger generation as they grow older, so they can, we can help prepare them for high school, because, I mean, I know, even with travel ball, like a lot of it, you're not guaranteed playing time because it's travel ball. This is a rec league. High
Right.
school, I mean, it's twice as much as that. Like your spot is earned, it's not given. And that's kind of some of the teachings that we're even passing on to even like as young as our 10U kids, our 9U kids, like making them understand that the fundamental part of the game is very, very truly important. You have to be great at the boring things. You have to be great at
Mhm.
station dribbling. You have to be great at passing. You have to be great at having good balance. Like all these things that a lot of kids don't really want to work on. Those are the things that are going to carry you on to the next level and earn you adequate playing time. So, we just really try to stress those things. Even though, sometimes practices can look like, oh, this is boring. Like kids want to do reverse layups or they want to go, you know what I mean? But
Right.
like, understanding what it takes to do those things. Kids want to shoot, like they walk in the gym and they want to start shooting 35-foot 3 pointers because Steph is doing it. But I mean,
Mhm.
Steph said it himself. He wasn't allowed to shoot 3 pointers at a young age because it would ruin his shot. So
Mhm.
whole form shooting, just really trying to break the game down as much as we possibly can for these kids. And I feel that's part of the culture of this whole valley, when it comes to fundamental base. And not only that, but like just making sure there's also an importance of being a community member. So like with our organization, we don't try to just be a staple of the community. We try to be a cornerstone of the community, and
Mhm.
really try to do our due diligence when it comes to being involved and helping out with community cleanup days, whether it's going to the library, planting new plants, painting the curbs red again, or just little things we do. Um, so I think I think that's the culture. I think that's the importance of this community. And honestly, like, everyone here is honest, like I would say doing a great job, or doing a decent job of
Mhm.
it. And, the beauty of it all though is like we all have things to work on, so from players, coaches, community members, parents, and by having that common knowledge of knowing that we all can all do better, I think is what's helping us grow more and more and more each day, and
Mhm.
allowing ourselves in a position to put these kids in a position to where they can be successful. So that's exciting,
Sure.
because the one thing you don't want is someone who knows it all. you always want to be teachable. You always want to be a student. So, and I feel that's one of the things that we have here in this community from, the women's side of basketball to the boys side of basketball. Um, and I just, again, I think the community's in really great hands when it comes to the coaches that are in place. And, to the other organizations out here in the area as well that aren't Wolves Academy, they're doing an excellent job as well. And, I always want to stress that even though, like we may not be the same organization, we're part of the same community. And, we can never lose sight of that. So when it comes to
Yeah.
having, you know, scrimmages or something like that, like, hey, you guys want to scrimmage this weekend? Yeah, of course, let's do it. You know what I mean? So, understanding the importance that, we may not be the same organizations, but we are part of the same community. And because of those reasons, we're doing a great job over here. So,
Yeah. One thing and you kind of dabbled with it too, is talking about, the bigger than basketball concept.
always.
For you guys, in this day and age, obviously, people like us, obviously being involved with the community, kids,
Hmm.
the sports is a vehicle to teach them things in life. Is there things that you're kind of dialing up with your group to teach them those things, and are there any examples of some success stories that you'd like to shine some light on? Not necessarily have to, but just talk about those things that you're trying to instill in those young people, as a vehicle to set them up in life as a mentor in the community.
Yeah. Yeah, so, when I look at the success and stuff like that, I look at, like you said it, yes, we want to be successful on the floor, but I love when parents send us pictures of, hey, my kid just made honor roll. Hey, my kid just got perfect attendance for the whole year. Like those are the things that I love getting. Those are the things I love seeing because the game of basketball, you know what I mean? Like, basketball is a sport we play, you know, and but life is something that we have to live and do. So, by allowing our kids to come through our program and just kind of gain as much as much mentorship and knowledge we can pass on to them that can help even carry them into the classroom and be the perfect student, or not even the perfect student, but be a great student, a good student, those are the kind of things that we really look for. And we understand that, in order for us to be successful on the floor, there are things we have to do. And like I said, don't get me wrong, when we go to a tournament, we want to win, right? We want to go win, we want to go in, we want to compete. um, and those, and no disrespect to you guys, we appreciate everything all these tournaments do for us, but the trophies that you guys give is just a almost kind of like an incentive. It's just a cherry on the top. You know what I mean? For
Sure.
our kids, and sometimes even going to tournaments and losing are valuable lessons for us because I feel we grow more from those than we do from getting a trophy. And I think a majority of our kids really understand that, and they also know from me that I'm not about trophies. I'm not about wins. I'm not about losses because I'm about the things that it does to get to those points, right? I know we have to have a program. I know we have to have a work ethic. I know we have to focus on this part of the game in order for us to achieve those things just to get that social media picture at the end. You know what I mean? So I think for us, that's the
Absolutely.
bigger picture. And, you know, shout out to our parents too because they are so supportive when it comes to that kind of stuff. And but our kids just being the best humans or the best community members, best students they could be. That's really where it's at for us, bro. Like,
Yeah.
doing what they do outside of their jersey.
Yeah. Two more questions before I let you go is, obviously you guys playing a bunch of tournaments. You guys are around quite a bit here in Southern California and beyond. If you were to describe your perfect tournament, is there any teams out there? Maybe it's somebody you haven't played yet. Maybe it's your rivals. Maybe it's your friends. I mean, it doesn't, could be anybody, but are there any programs out there
Yeah.
that you'd kind of like to shout out that you'd love to play in your perfect tournament
Oh
that
man,
you want to shout out?
there's a lot of, I mean, there's, yeah, of course, man. Shout out to Flex and Tim. I know Tim over there, Tim Britton. He has a great program, and we love playing Flex because we know when we go up against them, we're gonna get a great matchup. And honestly, it doesn't even matter what division. We know it's gonna be a good game.
Sure.
So, playing against Tim and his organization, they have a lot of the similar values, and that's why he's a good friend of mine. There's I mean, shout out to Primo, shout out to Savage Storm. Um, you know, there's all kind. We got Handles that's here in our community who's doing a great job of stuff. Coach Titus. I give him a call and like, hey, you guys want to scrimmage this weekend? We don't even have to go to the tournament. We can handle business right here, right in our backyard. You know what I mean? So,
I got you.
stuff
Yeah.
like that. So, yeah, bro. Valley Reapers, they got a good 14U team, 15U team. They're doing a great job with that with that age group of kids. Inland Elite, shout out to Liam. He's always getting a good group of kids, and you know what I mean. So really, man, just the people here in my community that have all these other programs, I just want them to know, like, you know, um, we're here to support each other, and
Yeah.
honestly, like, I want to root for them too, because at the end of the day, it's not necessarily the Wolves or whatever it may be, the organization, but just those kids that are in that organization, because those kids are going to our local high schools, and we really want to see them, succeed. So,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
man, just a lot of those. Anytime we go to grassroots, though, like, we know, like, hey, we got to be ready. Whether you're playing 8 o'clock or you're playing at 7 o'clock, like, you got to
Yeah.
be ready to go because you guys got some hitters that always come through. So, yeah, man, looking forward to this year and getting more on the calendar with that stuff at OGP. Whatever you guys got coming up, man. We actually, I'm almost done finishing our calendar right now, all the way through July. That include some of your guys' dates, and we're very excited to go to those. So yeah, man, it's just
Good deal.
just looking for those type of events, you know.
Yeah, we'll have to shout those guys out. Those guys are definitely doing a good job, and look forward to some more
Yeah,
matchups
man.
between you guys and those guys, and maybe some others too. So obviously, before I let you go,
Heck yeah.
another season coming up for you guys. Tryouts probably about to start, things of that nature as we kind of move into the season. What can we expect from you guys? I mean, kind of your time to tell people what's going on with the Wolves Academy when tryouts are, and how you'd like to pitch them on joining the program before we kick off another year.
Yeah, definitely, man. So we have tryouts this weekend, actually, on Saturday and Sunday morning. Sunday morning because Super Bowl. So, um, but we have tryouts coming up. We got a full calendar coming up, heading all the way through July. Um, and if parents want to reach out to us, we're always allowing kids to come through our program, whether they want to try out for the teams or even just be part of our program. So we have quite a few. Excuse me. We have quite a few kids in our program that are actually practice based only. So
Mhm.
we really never turn down a lot of kids, because as my job as a coach, I feel if there's a kid who loves the sport or who's attracted to the sport, they need somebody there to help guide them. So it's easy for me
Mhm.
to take a 3 star, a 4 star, or a 5 star kid, right? And we can put a team together. But truly, bro, like, I really love when kids are coming to us just raw, don't know nothing about the sport, just want to learn
Yeah.
and want to be taught, and so even if you know what I mean. So we offer those services for kids that just want to come in and develop. And yeah, man, just they could reach us on Instagram, Wolves Academy CA, and we can chop it up from there. But it's really just that exciting time of year right now, where and stressful. Let's be real. For me, anyways, I got high school, and then we have travel ball about to start, so Right now, I'm
Yeah.
locked in on the high school end, but definitely, I appreciate the love and support from my coaches, Rex, JT, James, Phil. I can go, yeah, man, and just the parents that help out. But they're holding down my program right now while I'm doing the high school thing. So as much as I want to see this playoff run through, like I know there's something exciting at the end of this too. You know what I mean? So
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well,
yeah,
Coach, I appreciate you coming on. Best of luck with the tryouts, obviously, but also best of luck
appreciate
with
it.
the high school season. 8-0 is a big deal, sounds like, and I'm sure you guys will be finding out your fate here, where the cards end up with the playoffs and everything. But hoping you guys can make a deep run.
Yeah, I appreciate it, man. Thank you so much, bro.